The SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants, uh, was a movie that I was not excited about. Also, just a side tangent before we get into this video. Well, a couple side tangents. I uploaded I have reviews for all the previous SpongeBob movies and a couple of the holiday specials and the Halloween special. So if you like SpongeBob content, I've made a number of videos about it already. Lead up to this movie. Check those out. Also, I plan to do a separate review for the Ninja Turtles short that played for this movie and talk about that in its own video. Because there is a Ninja Turtles short that plays in front of this movie. So I got to go see this at an early screening tonight. They gave us this cool holiday themed poster, which I actually really like. It's a weird design, but I like it. And they gave us some stickers. Not that I'm going to use them. They're just going to go into a tub of stuff that I just don't know what to do with. But, stickers. Yeah, but I was not excited about this movie. I wasn't. I enjoy SpongeBob. I enjoy seeing SpongeBob movies. But the third one was garbage. It just was. It was not so I don't know, but the director was talking about this movie and how he tried to make it closer to the first 3 seasons of the SpongeBob, which directors can talk about trying to recreate that feel. Doesn't mean it'll always happen. So I was curious what he meant by that and if I would see it watching the movie. Kind of was more on the hesitant side than believing that. And I didn't really like that they changed Mark Hamill to do the voice of Flying Dutchman. It's like, hey, if the original voice actor from the show is still around, why do you have to change it because it's a movie? There is a reason for it, and I'll talk about that later in the review, but for these reasons, I just was not excited about this movie. And I came out pleasantly surprised. I will say, I think there's, for a lot of old school SpongeBob fans, SpongeBob has a certain place in their heart where they're like, is it ever going to be as good as those first 3 seasons? That is their continuous question. And when watching this movie, the answer is still no. I do think that you do see some of that vibe, though, and you'll get some of that joy out of this movie, like in those first 3 seasons. First of all, the SpongeBob movie, the first one, it has elements of that movie in there, where it's a journey about SpongeBob trying to prove that he's not just a kid, and it kind of has a heartwarming feel to it because of that. And, him dealing with, like, monsters and stuff, So there's elements of that first SpongeBob movie, which is nice, because a lot of those old school fans say that, SpongeBob should have ended with that movie. And some of the jokes feel like jokes out of the first 3 seasons. Some of the expressions feel like jokes out of the first 3 seasons. I think what holds this movie back is that those are there and they work. There's a great fourth wall breaking gag that was in the middle of the movie. But you also see the new SpongeBob-isms where they're making really juvenile jokes that go on forever and don't really stop. It's, things like that. There's a lot of new SpongeBob-isms in here mixing with classic SpongeBob. So I guess in a way it's something that like both old and new fans could get something out of, but you still wish it would have been a closer vision to what SpongeBob was originally and all that. I also really hated, I think it was Ice Spice, or I could be wrong, whoever did this fucking new song for this movie, it is dog shit. It is the most irritating fucking song. And the thing was, they had like a pre-show of just advertisements for this movie because it was an early screening, so they had all this text up on the screen like, hey, do this, scan this code, whatever, buy SpongeBob merch, whatever. It's all flashing on the screen, right? And they played the song 3 times before the movie even started playing. So I already had this irritating ass song stuck in my brain, not on purpose, 3 times before I watched the movie, and then they played in the actual movie. It is just like, and it's not like a credit song. It's like a real song that they play in the movie, and it is just so unbefitting of the world of SpongeBob, and it is just like just awful sounding. I'm like, what the fuck is this song? it's like I can't even remember the lyrics. It's some like uh, I don't even know. I can't even explain it. I just yeah. But yeah, the thing I mentioned about Mark Hamill changing the voice, I think the reason why is I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a part where you do see the Flying Dutchman in live action, and I'm assuming Mark Hamill did those parts. It was kind of hard to tell by the way those scenes were shot, but it seemed like they were. And so maybe the actor who played the Flying Dutchman is really great at doing the voice, but not really great at doing it in live action. Where Mark Hamill is, a live action actor and a comedic actor, so I'm not sure. I still would have preferred the original voice if they could have made that work. Because even the way those scenes with the Flying Dutchman in live action didn't really feel like that. I don't know, but I thought this movie worked. I think either way, Mark Hamill did a fun voice as the Flying Dutchman, even if it is like just him doing his voice for Skeletor in that He-Man show, and his voice of the Joker very obviously. Like when he laughs, it's you can hear the Joker in it. Like it's not subtle. I like this movie quite a bit, shockingly, and I didn't really think I would. I would still overall say it's just an okay movie, but you know, I think this is like a thing where like people talk about Modern Simpsons being good, and I'm not here to hate on Modern Simpsons because I know a lot of people do. I don't watch enough of it to really know, but every once in a while I'll see like a decent episode, and it still will just remind me like, yeah, this show is still on too long, and I feel the same way about SpongeBob. So, but I enjoyed myself. So that's all you can really ask for. There you go.